Listen to the Be Forever Cool podcast. My name is Rex45, and it's the Vroom Vroom Wednesday show. This evening we got Tyson in the building, also Sir John Hampton in the building as well. You guys, welcome to the show. How you guys doing? We'll start with Tyson.
How's it going, everybody? I'm doing great.
Nice. That's what's up. How's your day? How's your week?
That was okay. It was a nice long weekend. That was very fun. My girlfriend was out of town, so I was extremely lazy.
Hey, listen, that's the best thing to do over Labor Day weekend, when you can lay around and do nothing. Sir John, how about yourself, man? How you doing today? How was your week?
I'm doing good. I can't complain about nothing. Weekend was cool. Actually, I got to race. We're at Road Atlanta this past weekend. So a lot of work to do to get back to where I want to be. But it was an exciting, good, fun weekend. So I won't complain.
Oh, that's what's up. Let's talk about that a little bit before we jump into MotoGP. What was that like for you, and like, what do you think you have to work on? I've only been at Road Atlanta once in person. Huge fan of the track and the layout, so I definitely like it. And when was the last time you raced before you this weekend?
So I actually just did a round at Roebling, I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago, out of Savannah, and it went well out there too. Definitely, I had just did a track day there, so it was easy to go back and race there, and try to find a groove. It was easier to, chase progression. It's been a while since I rode Road Atlanta. So it was still like that shocking factor of like, oh, this is a little different here. So the weekend was overall, it was a good weekend. It's just kind of not comparing it to where I was when I was consistently riding and racing and expecting to be back at that point immediately. Just giving myself the grace to, remember, hey, bro, like, you're not even riding right now. Like, stop expecting to be clicking 33s and you're not even riding, so. A little bit of grace, but solid weekend overall.
Right. Tyson, you know a little bit about that as well, don't you?
Yep, I certainly do.
It's tough when you take time off. It really, like, mentally, you're always at the racetrack. I'm always at the racetrack mentally. So, but physically, it's a whole different animal. And I think that's one of the hardest things is adjusting your mind to saying, hey, you've taken time off, so don't beat yourself up. Which for me, that's usually like the last thing I think about. Like, flip tables over, everything, all this other stuff. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's right. So we know about that with motorcycle racing. But let's talk about this previous weekend. 2 weekends ago now, coming up on 2 weekends ago, MotoGP was in Balaton, first time in Hungary. In a long time, well over 29 years, I believe. Let's just do a quick recap of what you guys thought about the sprint race and the main race, and this kind of overall how you think the season has been going so far. Start with Tyson. Sorry.
I quite frankly enjoyed the race. I was kind of excited for it, seeing as that they haven't ridden there in a while and no one really had experience. So I was like, this could be quite an entertaining one. Just everybody all over the place. The only part that wasn't sort of entertaining, I guess, was Mark just being Mark and just effortlessly stomping on the rest of the grid. Like I feel bad kind of for like the rest of the guys. Like, I know they're the best in the world, but like at the same time, it's like, he's like on the same bike as you guys. But I thought it was pretty good. I know some people were quite concerned with like the safety and stuff like that with the track, which I understand to a degree, but if your concern is safety, you should get in a car. Like, you're riding bikes. Like, there's risk. Like,
come on, man. There's no one in the writers' meeting talking about Loudon.
There's a risk. Yeah, Loudon's sketchy. Like, that is a sketchy track, to be fair. And we all would like it to be safer and stuff like that, but they're at the top of their game. It's a tier 1 track to a degree, it is what it is. But yeah, that Enea crash was pretty sketch. Like,
yeah,
they should probably work on that corner. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, no, there's no perfect tracks, and
No.
I think if you grow up on that racetrack, you kind of you know what to do, what not to do, kind of thing. I think for me, Loudon was my first track, so I didn't. I thought every track was like that. So it's just like it only gets better from here. So. So I feel you. You know what I mean. And we'll talk about the track a little bit more. But Sir John, I guess is it cool just saying Sir John?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What do you think of overall of the race, the sprint, and the main race? And I haven't asked you guys. I guess we'll find out. Who you guys are rooting for, if you guys are rooting for anyone. But what did you think of the races?
No, I think the race was beautiful. One is interesting again because they don't have the knowledge, it's a new track to everyone that was on grid. So that was pretty awesome to see who can adapt, who that track favors, their riding style, who's gonna, be able to adapt the quickest. Of course, it favors a lot of Marquez's
right
what he loves, his riding style, so it was kind of one of those like, okay, well, who's going to go chase him, so to see honestly Besecki again out front, giving him a little bit of fire for the little bit of time that he did. That was a beautiful thing to do. I feel like that's huge for him as a rider and huge for the Aprilia team to see them out front. Definitely with Jorge coming back. With the ride that he even did that weekend, that's just good news for them in the future. If they can just continue to piece it together. So,
yeah, I agree. So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Honda. What do you guys think of what Honda finished? They look really well. They also signed back Luca and Mir. So what are your thoughts on how Honda did? Tyson, you own a Honda, right? So I think
I do own a Honda.
So so you're a Honda fan. You like Honda, I like Honda too. What are your thoughts on how Honda did?
I think they're doing great. I mean, from where they were the last couple of years, I mean, this is obviously a huge step in the right direction. I mean, Luca Marini in 5th, was that in the main race? I think was he 6th in the sprint as well, something like that.
Yeah, I think something like that. Really well.
What was he? Mir was 6th. Good for Mir as well. Marini was 4th in the sprint.
Yep.
Even better. I mean, they're on the up and they're one of the premier teams. Like it sucks when you see Yamaha or Honda. It's like seeing Ferrari at the bottom of the table. Like, everyone's heart hurts a little bit when they see that. So it's good to see them coming back up. Hopefully they can get some, more development in. Maybe some different riders. We'll see. But
which brand did you just compare Honda to?
I mean, I wouldn't quite call them Ferrari, but like they're just one of those sort of brands. They've always been there. Like they're huge. Like Ducati is the Ferrari of bikes, but like at the end of the day, when it comes to performance and like actual wins on the track, I'd say probably Honda's a little bit closer than Ducati,
right?
Unless it's Superbike.
Fair enough. They have the same dominance that Ferrari did and stuff like that. And that's huge. We'll talk a little bit more about that. What are your thoughts, Sir John, about Honda? How they're doing? I know you have a Yamaha, so I don't know how much of a Honda fan you are.
I mean, I don't really have issues at a Honda, so I don't mind giving them some praise. As long as they stay behind me, we're good. But I feel like one is great because you got Luca Marini, which is honestly, he's a good rider. And I questioned his desire to go to Honda, knowing Honda was in their rebuild, trying to figure out life's phase. So it was good to see some hope this season, to see a couple of rounds ago, Zarco be able to put the Honda out front, then seeing them actually finish races, like the Hondas are finishing races. Like when they start finishing races consistently, that to me is a good sign. Then you can start climbing your way up the ladders, running to placement where you're finishing at and stuff like that. So I think that was a good round for them as well, with their riders finishing as good as they did.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts on Zarco before we moved on? I mean, it seems like his candle was the best at the French Open and is kind of just coming down. Honda did sign him, or LCR did sign him for 2 years. So he will be on the The new the new bikes for 27. What are you guys' thoughts on Zarco?
I mean, he definitely has had a great season, I guess, in general, compared to previous seasons. But I mean, the bike's tough. He did a great job with that win. It certainly petered off, but he's still on a Honda, I'd say.
So do you agree with what he's saying, Sir John? And also, do you think it's Zarco, the tracks that they're going to now, the bike, or it's just sometimes riders just do better? Like to quote Lewis, your home track gives you half a tenth or something like that.
No, honestly, I feel like it's all of that. One, it's your home track, so ideally that's the track that you're most comfortable at. But also psychologically, that's the track where you have the most pressure because it is your home track. So like it's good to see him actually do great at that track. As far as everything else, I mean, I feel like, and this isn't a knock to Zarco, but it's typical Zarco riding. He's gonna have flashes of speed. He's gonna get close to winning a race or win a race a season. Like that's just what he does. And he can ride anything you put him on. But he's never. I won't say he's never. He just hasn't shown that he's the consistent threat throughout a season, but he will show you a flash of like, damn, that kid can ride, So I think it's Zarco. And again, he's right now, honestly, I think he's helping. The data that Honda can get from him riding and in those flashes is excellent for them to continue to build the bikes for the Luca Marini and Mir, take his data, use it for them. Cause obviously I feel like that's their, stallions for Honda right now by choice. So,
and do you guys think that Honda made the right decision? And essentially, I mean, they're keeping all their riders. Well, again, Zarco got 2 years, but Marini and Mir got a year. The only new guys coming, I think, was Diego coming in for replacing Samcat on LCR. Do you think that's a good look for Honda? What they're doing?
Diego Moreira.
Yeah, he's signed for next year.
Oh, he did. I thought that was a rumor, but I mean,
I gotta guess you're right. It might be a rumor, but I thought I saw.
I have no idea if that's actually a rumor or not. I just thought I saw it come across my feed, kind of deal. But I mean, consistency is probably key for them, especially in this stage in their development. Like, I wouldn't be tossing out all of your riders for new riders at this point. Like, the bike was good. They're at a similar situation, or Ducati had a year or two ago. Sure, switch up the riders. Bring people in, keep one person, but this stage they need consistency to develop that data and make their bikes better. Like you just adding more and more variables to the equation isn't helping anybody or your bike. But Diego Moreira seems to be, another prodigy to a degree. So like it doesn't hurt like him or Samcat. Like I don't think that's going to hurt them in any way. It probably, frankly, will help them. But
great. What are your thoughts, Sir John?
Honda's a question mark for me right now. And it's just like they're doing good and they're doing a lot better. I just want and hope that their team is putting forth the effort to one, keep these riders safe. Because for a long time that bike is really unrideable unless you were Marc Marquez. And even when you were Marc Marquez, it will still try to eat you alive, So as long as they keep themselves with the development as to developing a rideable bike, I feel like they will be okay. The riders, I mean, I feel like they're taking a gamble with the hopes that the team will do the work and the effort to get a solid contender of a bike. And then they can now showcase their skills on that bike. And now they can maybe, pick up that fallen angel of Honda and become like the rider to start putting it on podiums and doing this stuff. Now they got the media, well, not the media for that point, but they got the presence of like, hey, like the Marc Marquez and Honda era is over. Let's talk about the Luca Marini and the Juan Mir of Honda now, because we stuck with it through the trenches for us to get good again. So it's a little shaky for me. I think honestly, Honda's going to maybe do something and Yamaha, in 2027 when they switch to the 850s or 800s. Mm-hmm. I think that's when they're going to become back competitive again. So you just got to make it through the rest of this season and next year.
Yeah, I agree. And Tyson, you're right. I think it's just hearsay right now. I couldn't find anything confirming Diego moving yet. But it looks like it may happen, but it's not confirmed yet. Let's talk about
too.
Yeah, let's talk about Yamaha. They didn't struggle as bad as I forget which where they were at. I think Czech Republic or maybe Red Bull Ring. But they still they were out of the top 10. What are you guys' thoughts on that and on where Yamaha is right now? I believe in Mazzano they're going to be bringing the V4 engine finally to the race. So that should be a good look for them. Miller got re-signed. So, and I'd be curious to hear if you thought they made the right decision between Miller and Oliveira. What were you guys' thoughts on how Honda did? Yamaha.
Do you want to go first, Sir John?
Yeah. Yamaha, my heart, my baby. My baby. I feel like, they're figuring out something. They of course the start of the season wasn't the best at all. But they were able to piece some rounds together, which is good news. Obviously they're working behind the scenes. But I feel like you have two world champions on your bike, factory bike, and you're struggling to make this thing get in the top 10. It's diabolical to me. Definitely for my personal opinion, you have Fabio Quartararo, which is one of the best skilled riders to me on the grid right now. For him to have to struggle so hard, you guys got a lot of work to do. And so I do hope that V4 does something well. I know the regulations maybe won't allow, Quartararo or Rins to race the bike. I wish. Put Jack Miller on it for all I care. But the test rider on it, I feel like you get data, but you're not going to feel the results. I feel like, so I just wish that was slightly different. I would love to see Jack Miller at least on it or to see what it's actually capable of. I do feel like they did a great decision with picking Jack Miller over Oliveira, just because Jack Miller, his persona, as far as the garage atmosphere, chemistry, he's easy to work with. He has a good personality. He can ride, and he can give you some flair here and there. And I think he just has more experience. Exactly. And I just think he has the experience to tap into more than Oliveira. So I feel like they made the solid choice with that. I just want them to get back to being the Yamaha that I want and the Yamaha that I know. Like you got two world champions on your bike. Like you should be in the top 10. And for my personal opinion, you have one of the best riders on the grid on your bike as well in Fabio Quartararo, and he can't do nothing with that bike. Not for a turnover race. He can barely make it a sprint and to get that thing over fourth place. That's a problem to me.
Yeah, and he looks like he's pushing beyond the limits, and he's starting to crash. Where in the previous years he wasn't crashing, so he's definitely motivated. Because you wouldn't be crashing if you weren't motivated. What are your thoughts, Tyson, on Yamaha?
I mean, I agree with pretty much everything Sir John said. I'm probably more pessimistic about them than Sir John. I think they're just throwing whatever they can at the wall and hoping that it sticks. My concern, like compared to Honda's kind of like generally in a similar sort of middle lower tier, and they kind of have some good turnouts, whereas they're all over the place. They'll win a race and then they'll be dead last the next race, and then they'll be top 10 and then they'll be dead last again. And that's kind of a concerning thing for me, seeing is that like you want consistency to a degree. And that's what I think the V4, I think they're just throwing something at the wall at the V4 and hoping that it fixes problems and keeps Fabio. I agree with you, Sir John. I think pure talent, I'll probably exclude some of the younger guys just because we haven't seen so much about them so far, but like pure talent on the grid, Fabio is probably the only person who could realistically compete with Mark on an equal bike.
Yeah.
I would love to see that throwdown. Both of them on competitive bikes would be unreal. I think the only chance for that is 2027, though. It's not happening next year unless Fabio moves to Ducati, or Aprilia.
Right.
at this point, this stage in the game. But yeah, he reminds me a lot of 2020 to 2023 Mark Marquez, like just absolutely riding the piss out of the bike and just doing whatever he can to pick up some points. And it, sometimes bites, and you get hurt for it, or, it doesn't work out. But yeah, I'm relatively concerned about that. I hope it works out. I genuinely do. Because like Honda, I consider them one of the premier sort of brands. Like, it would be terrible to see them. It's terrible to see them at the bottom of the grid.
That I agree on that, but I have to say, I mean, Vinales can he might be able to run with Mark as well. No,
oh my God, Vinales, see him put a season together.
I mean, no.
Oh no!
You say
no!
Wow.
We were talking about Zarco, and I was like, "You mean Vinales adjacent?"
Come on. Vinales is one on almost 4 different manufacturers. I mean,
I know. It's very good, very impressive.
It's huge. And he already knew the Yamaha was messing up before he got fired.
The motor on it.
He was
right. He said rev bomb.
Never seen a 2-step in a premier racing grid.
Okay.
Oh man!
So Quartararo, no Bagnaia, no Bezecchi, none of those other guys. I'm leaving the young people out. So, huh?
I just don't think they're in the same ballpark. Like,
but you think Quartararo is, huh?
I do, for sure.
Right.
I mean, like, you look at them, like these other guys. Like, I think they're doing the best with their talent and the bike that they have. But like Fabio, you look at the rest of his team, and they're not doing well, and he's doing 10 places above them almost every race. Like, talent shows eventually,
I hear what you're saying. I mean, Vinales is kind of like Miller. I think they both those guys helped KTM take a leap when they got the KTM. So, I think there's something there, but I like what you guys are saying. Let's talk about Morbidelli and the Gin Antonio. Morbidelli got 1 more year. I know some other folks on the show is writing Morbidelli off at the beginning of the year, and Bastianini and some of these guys because they were at the bottom. But I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on Frankie. Did he deserve to get 1 more year at VR46, or is he just is he like Kawhi and the owner of the Clippers?
Fast Frankie Morbidelli. He's a good rider. He has skill. And honestly, he has the bike, which I know not, but he has the bike that is helping make his skills a little bit amplified with being on that bike. But I mean, he can start a race and he can ride the race for the most part, and it's hit or miss on if he saved his tires properly, to finish the race in the top 6. But it's the mistakes he makes so often to me that's like, is mind boggling to me. Like you make the weirdest mistakes that cost you the biggest penalties that hurt you the most so often. Like, how is this even possible? So that part I don't understand. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone knows it's a big shift coming up in 27. So I'm not too worried about shuffling my grid on bikes that I know I'm not going to be racing more than after next year anyway. So sure, I'll give him the seat too. You're already here. Already got rapport with you. Let's see what you can do next year.
Yeah, my bad. I think Frankie's more like Tony Yayo to 50.
Oh my God.
You love him, but he's always doing something wrong.
He's always doing something wrong, man. Always.
Oh my God.
What are your thoughts, Tyson?
I pretty much agree to the most part on that. Like, dude just can't get out of his own way. Just like, we all know those people who just like all the heart in the world, all the whatever skill or experience, and they just seem to put that left foot right in front of the right and just trip over themselves, I was looking at the standings real quick, and I'm like, I mean, he's beating Fabio by not much, but he's also nowhere near the other 24s. So I think given the regulation changes, like, I'm not too shocked that they kept him. Like, why break up the party before, like, everyone's going to be looking for contracts coming into 2027. And I think that's what everyone's sort of like, waiting to see, like, what's going to happen, almost like right before an election year kind of deal, like, let's wait to see who wins to see how this economy is going to turn out kind of deal,
Do you think Di Giannantonio and Bagnaia are looking forward to seeing the 26 Ducati?
I don't think they're looking forward to much.
I bet Pecco is. He wants anything but a 25 Ducati right now.
I don't think it's going to help him.
It's not. It's not.
I think
as long as
the
he's
only hope is he's going to get second.
You see what Frankie's doing on a 24, and you see what Alex Marquez is doing on a 24. So, and he won the champion. No, he didn't win the championship on a 24, but he was close. He was close. Let me see what else am I. I think they, Aleix came to race, but I think he got hurt, so he didn't really get none. So it's possible that Samcat Chantra may be out of his seat, and also, at the moment, Oliveira is out of his seat.
Wait, didn't Samcat already lose his seat like months ago?
I thought he was hurt.
I think he was injured.
I think it was yeah.
I thought they took his seat. Sorry, my bad.
No, I think he got injured during a practice round, and then the test rider ended up getting injured too. Yeah. So like both of them got injured back to back, and then they threw somebody else on there. Yeah.
The Honda
last race was 15th.
Yeah. So, but what are your thoughts on those guys losing their seat? I mean, I feel like Oliveira should have a seat because he had it worse than Mir. I mean, for the last 5 years, some other rider. I think there's only one time that he took himself out. Outside of that, it was like some other rider taking him out and taking him out for more than 4 races in the season.
Yeah. Oliveira's just, that kid is a magnet for Rex. But I don't know who gets taken out more, him or Mir. But they're always on the tail end of getting wrecked out by somebody else. Every single time. And it's heartbreaking. Because Oliveira does have skill. He was able to do some things and she put the bike up front a couple of times in his career, but for some reason he's just not able to avoid, the bikes aren't able to avoid him. And he's just magnetizing it, so it sucks to see him get written off. But it's we rather got to get faster enough to get away from that group of people doing all the wrecking. That's pretty much your only option, because obviously staying back there is not helping your career out.
I'm really not.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm really not surprised either of them lost their seat, frankly. What is it? You're only as good as your last race. I mean, at this level of racing with this amount of money on the line, it sucks. Everyone would love to have, I gave you 3 good years or whatever. You should give me, a hand or whatever, but that's just not the world we live in, and it's not the series you're in, and it is what it is. But I feel for Miguel more than I feel for some chat. He's seconds off the pace. He shouldn't have been on the grid to begin with. That seems dangerous. That seems like putting a novice in an expert race. You know what I mean? Almost, but
I think it's one of those things where, not what I think, I know for riders, if MotoGP comes calling, you have to accept.
Shit, I would take a MotoGP contract if they gave me one right now.
Exactly.
100%.
I don't fault him for it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do the same thing.
Yeah, but if Iaguro into to Honda instead of Aprilia, Samcat would still be in Moto 2. But gotcha. It's I'm gonna mess up their name, but LCR, the Asian side, they want a Japanese rider or Asian rider on the bike. As they've done with Taka Nakagami for years and stuff like that, and which makes sense, right? And because there's a lot of Asian riders racing in all parts of Asia right now, and when he goes to Indonesia, where he's from, he's like a god over there. Samcat, even in Moto 2, so it makes sense, but I don't think riders should be penalized, because I think even Joe Roberts got penalized because he didn't want to go to Aprilia when Aprilia was really bad, and he should at least have an opportunity to go with the Trackhouse racing team and stuff like that. But I think the parent company, Aprilia, is like, nah, man, you had your chance and you said no to us, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, but what are your thoughts on that?
Pastor, you want to go ahead?
It's on Joe Roberts.
Joe Roberts, and just having to take that opportunity to go to MotoGP when you're not ready. Right.
It's just one of those. I think you're in between a rock and hard place. I mean, I'm sure he understood the realities of that choice. Whereas, like, if he said no, the risks of them not wanting to sign him again are there. And I think why Samcat took that contract is he knows, like, this is my one chance. Either I do well or I don't get the seat. Or if I deny this, I probably won't get a seat anyway. So I'll take the contract and see what I can do. Like, I think that was Joe Roberts' only opportunity to get into MotoGP. I don't think anyone else will give him a contract. I don't think anyone's seen any sort of performances worthy of giving him a MotoGP contract. When I saw that he refused, or whatever the rumors or the whatever came out, I was like, that was a mistake. Like, if your goal is to go to MotoGP, you should have just taken it. But here we are.
And he wasn't the only one. I mean, he wasn't. He definitely. I mean, I think Sam Lowe ended up getting the seat eventually, but back then, and Sam didn't make it the whole season. I don't believe.
No. And that's probably what would have happened to Joe. You know, like, unfortunately, but you know.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, let's. We're running through. Did you guys catch any of the Moto2 races before we talk about this weekend coming up? It was a pretty impressive race. Gonzalez is leading the championship, and he's fighting, I think, with Canet, but Diego's like right there, and obviously he messed things up this past weekend for those guys and Balaton. What are your thoughts on Moto2 and how the racing is going on for the whole season?
I didn't watch, so I'll leave it to the guys that watched.
Yeah, same here. Like, I really, I didn't watch Moto2. I haven't been following Moto2 too heavy this year. I do know Canet is riding the best he's rode in his career, I feel like, with the consistency. Because I've always wondered about Canet. It's like, why are you not progressing? Because you've been at this for a while, but it's one of those things, honestly, just sometimes your time is your time. And it doesn't come when it comes as early for some people. But I feel like he's doing good right now. He has a couple points he needs to try to close if he wants it. Gonzalez is rolling, so good luck. And you also got the young cat right behind you, so it's kind of like he can't make a mistake. But like I said, for Moto2, it's been a lot of highlights and just kind of catching up just real briefly with Moto2.
But I agree that Canet's riding the best. He's having the best seasons he's had. I think he's won the most races. I mean, he's usually in second place and fighting for the championship this far into the season. Because usually in the beginning of the season, he'll be up there. And then injuries. I mean, like, at least with Mir, he'll fall and walk back. Like, Canet, most of the times he's hurting something. He's breaking something.
He's like Martin.
Soft bones. Seriously, and we saw that he's been riding wounded, for several races this year already, and kind of finished further back. And now that he's healthy again, you kind of see his pace coming back and stuff like that. So, that's one guy I think should have had a MotoGP ride, because I think he is one of the talented riders in Moto2. And I know, like, there's been rumors in the past when he had had too many tattoos, and some manufacturers didn't want that associated to their brand and stuff like that, which is kind of weird because just about everyone in MotoGP has a tattoo. So so that's crazy. So let's talk about what to expect this weekend in Cataluna. I believe it's Marquez's home track. And I gotta look at the stats and see if we'll look at the stats and see how some of these other riders have done. But let's kind of talk about Cataluna. What do you think of that track, the location, the atmosphere is going to be like as well? Because the Spaniards, they love motorcycle racing.
At this point of the career, not career, but this point of the season, I'm just like, just go ahead and give it to him already. He's winning at Marquez winning at tracks to where he's sucked at, and he's winning. So like, you got the he's Hungary. You know, and I feel like he's definitely proved a point. You know, and I feel like he did that last year with Grassini, where he made that choice to be like, I'm racing with Grassini for nothing because I just want to be competitive. And now he's on factory and he's proving it this year. Like he's dominant. I feel like Cataluna is going to be exciting for the first couple of laps. And then it's going to be Gap City and he's going to do his thing, or he's going to sit behind whoever is in first place, probably Ben Secchi, and sit behind him for up until the last 2 laps and then instantly pass him and walk 4 seconds ahead of him. You know, like that's my anticipations. It's going to be a good race for second place and back.
Gotcha. What do you think about the atmosphere and stuff like that and the meaning of Cataluna? We've seen some really good battles in the past. So, you know, it is a good place for a good showdown. You think we're going to, it sounds like you're saying it's going to, like Marquez might kind of run away with it. And let me know when y'all catch up.
I mean, that's my personal opinion. You know, like certain people at certain tracks are able to close the gap on him a little bit. But when it comes down to who wants to win more and who has the skill to get it done, that's where the separation comes from. You know, like, so that's where he has the tools necessary. Honestly, he's riding the best bike on the grid right now, but he also has the mind and the skills on top of that to put to work when he needs to be clutch. And hey, I got X amount of time to reel this person in. I got X amount of time to win this race. Let me buckle down and do it. There's not a lot of people on grid that can compete against that version of Marc Marquez. And I feel like that's what separates him. So I don't want to say he's going to run away with it. But it's like, unless you do run away with it further enough out of his reach, quick enough, he's going to win the race.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Tyson? Foregone conclusion, or you know, Vinales is going to come back and?
Oh boy,
the Batman.
That's right.
I mean, he's going to win. I mean, he's competing with himself. So if he decides to crash, he's not going to win. If he doesn't crash, he's going to win. I think to your point, Sir John, like, I think this is the most complete Marc has ever been. Like, I don't necessarily think it's the fastest he's ever been. Like, you know, a couple years ago in his Honda heydays, I think he was just trying to prove the point that he's the fastest thing with 2 thumbs. And like, he didn't care. He was like, I'm going to make a point that, like, I know I'm winning. I'm in first place, but I'm going to put, you know, gaps on you. Like, I'm going to finish this race 40 seconds ahead. I mean, I don't know if he actually did, but like that kind of point. Whereas now, I think he's just like, you know what? I'm going to win. Why should I risk everything for, you know, an extra couple seconds just for bragging rights? So I think that's what I mean by like the most complete, where he's like, okay, I can relax and like not risk my body, not risk these points, and just win the race. No one else can touch me. And his control is insane. Like, watching him race other guys, it's like watching an expert fight an amateur. Like, and they're all top of the line, premier class riders, the best in the world. But he just does what he wants when he wants to. And that is the scariest thing about him, like, this year. Like, just, okay, I don't pass you this corner. Whenever, you know, next corner after that, next lap, whatever, it'll happen. We'll do it. And it's just like, I don't know, no one can compete. But I really hope Bez keeps it up. I hope Martin's doing better. Like, I think Martin's a better rider than Bez. He's just still getting up to speed. I think if they both were up to speed, I think Martin would realistically be in second at this stage. Maybe fighting Alex for second to a degree, but like, I don't think he would be behind Pecco. That Aprilia is pretty good. And I think with a faster rider, I think if Marc was on the Aprilia, he probably would still won the championship.
I agree.
Probably not any of the other bikes.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. After seeing what Bez is doing, and after seeing what Martin did the other day, I can say I think so too. I think if Marc was on an Aprilia, he would be fighting for the championship. Would he have as many points as he has right now? I don't know, but I think because the Aprilia is very competitive.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that right there. Like, I don't think he'd be walking away with the championship, but I think it would be like someone's gonna have to put up a serious fight to like take it from him.
It would have to be Fabio on a Ducati.
Or like say, because the whole thing was like Jorge left because Mark took his seat. Like he was like, I'm getting the Ducati seat. Well, that's it. So what if Mark stays or whatever, or Mark goes to Aprilia and Jorge then goes to the Ducati? Like, what would that championship be? It would be Jorge on most likely the 24 would be my guess. Is I don't think Pecco and Jorge would have taken the 25. But so the 24 against Mark on the, what is it, RS25? I think that'd be quite the championship throwdown. And I think it would be between Jorge and Mark, not Pecco.
Yeah. And just watching, again, what he did this past weekend, Martin, I feel like it's possible that, he might be. But let me ask this before we move on to another manufacturer. Because, I mean, and I've been saying it I haven't brought this up all season, and I've kind of been bashing Ducati, but how much credit should Ducati get, the team get, for what Mark is doing?
None. I mean, look at the rest of the riders.
That's tough. That's a tough question, actually, because it's like you want to be like, oh no, Ducati did this, but you got Pecco being a fierce fighter for 3 years in a row that face plants hard on that 25. Everyone else is kind of like, but then you got Mark being Mark. So
I mean, I do mean to cut you off, but like Alex was doing well, Furman is up there as well, so it's not just Mark. Obviously, Mark is the one that's winning, but
that's the thing though. So like, it's not just Mark, but it is just Mark because you got rookie Aldeguer, which he has so many random flashes of like greatness. Is crazy.
Ellie Jr.
Yeah, that dude is like, I'm excited to watch him like 2 or 3 years down the line. Alex was doing good. So they can ride the bike.
So John, 1 second. Mark Marquez has 66% of Ducati's points. There you go.
66. Wow.
Yikes. Yikes.
It's insane.
I mean, yeah.
So we were saying like, about Alex and Furman.
I mean, they're doing good. So Ducati's doing something because they're doing something correct. The thing is, I feel like I hope they don't get too locked in on Mark's performance, because at the end of the day, you're going to end up like Honda if you don't pay attention.
Yep.
Yeah.
What they should do is they should have like blind rider feedback, or Mark should just say, just give me a bike, don't fucking listen to me. Listen to everybody else but me. Like, I'm clearly going to win on whatever you give me. So like, if you want your bike to be better, ignore anything I tell you and listen to everybody else.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, Mark only got there, so they were listening to all 8 riders, and we saw what 8 riders were doing. Being very competitive at different track, different riders winning when they had 8 bikes on the grid. So, there's something to be said for that. And that's what Aprilia is doing, that kind of mindset of listening to the riders. We see that with KTM as well. Honda is starting to adapt that. Yamaha is trying to. So that's kind of the way, but Mark is doing something that these other guys are not doing. But again, you're saying it wouldn't matter because if he was on a KTM, he'll just do the same thing, or on Aprilia.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I think the Aprilia for sure. I'm not 100% certain he could win the championship on a KTM. I think he would fight for it, and I think he would fight for it. It would make it interesting for sure.
KTM,
I don't know if he could pull it off.
Well, so the weird thing is Mark likes a wobbly or he likes to push the front a lot.
Yeah.
And KTM has that loose, weird front wobbly feeling that I think he likes. So it's kind of like, and it has the power. Like the way that these KTMs are freight training these Ducatis on straightaways right now is ridiculous. I thought ducks were the fastest thing.
Sorry.
No,
I think he would have struggled quite a bit with the chatter. Like they all struggled quite a bit. Like I think he's amazing, but there's just some things like you just can't work around. And I think that would have been a serious struggle that would have hampered him at the first half of the season. Like they seem like they've sort of figured it out to a degree, but Mark's big thing is he loves sliding the front. He loves being hard on the brakes, really pushing that front into corners. And if your rear tire is just the entire time, like how much can you trust when you have grip? Like when can you tell it's the front chattering or the rear chattering kind of deal? So
Yeah.
I think he could make it interesting, and I think he would make a serious attempt on the KTM for the championship. I just don't know if he could realistically pull it off.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a guarantee. That's for sure. I feel like the Aprilia would be, I still would probably say it's a guarantee. It would just be closer. But any other manufacturer from there, like, it wouldn't work. Not with their current standing on where they're at. I mean, Marcus good, but you're not that good. Like, you can't be that good,
Since he's the Messiah, not God.
Right.
Exactly.
So Mark is in first place. Who's in second and third? And what do you guys think? Where's Yamaha in the standings and over the weekend? What do you guys think?
Hey, Cataluna. I think Fabio, he'll put in the top. Well, in the sprint, he'll probably put in the top 7. I give him that. If he can finish the race and not wreck out in the first corner.
I think Fabio. I think Yamaha's probably Fabio will be top 10, but the rest of the Yamahas probably won't touch the top 10. They seem to struggle here last year. I mean, obviously different bikes to a degree, but they're all iterations on previous bikes. So, especially with Honda doing better, I think they're probably going to chip away at some of their sort of successes that they had. And it looks like Aprilia and KTM did pretty well around Catalunya last year. So I think it'll be a pretty interesting race. And I think it realistically could be up to anybody.
Okay. So we got Aprilia. Did you guys say Aprilia? You think Bezzecchi or Martin will be, top 5?
I think Bezzecchi would certainly be top 3.
Benz is on a roll right now. Like, it's hard to really break that momentum when you got it going. So I do expect to see him in the top 3 again as well. Just like Tyson said.
Okay. How about the Aldeguer? I know Alex hasn't been the same since his injury, which is unfortunate. Because he's showing some pace, but making some mistakes. So you think, and same thing with Morbidelli and Digia. How do you think the other Ducatis are going to fare? And even Bagnaia, because we haven't talked about Bagnaia much, but. I know you guys are saying he's done for the season, but
Pecco is not. He's not mentally there. Pecco is like somewhere on vacation, crying in a corner somewhere. Like, he's mentally been checked out. I feel like he's I
mean, I think he's obviously struggling. That's quite obvious. But I mean, you look at Fabio too. Like, Fabio's no Jorge Martin or Fabio or Quartararo or Marquez, but like, he's still a quick rider and he's not doing anything on the 25. So I think generally the 25 was the wrong development choice for Ducati. At least this year. Like, who knows if whatever, an iteration on it is better or not. But
right. And in all fairness, Mark does say there's issues with the bike, but he knows how to ride around it, right? So
he's Marquez.
He had to ride around Honda his whole career.
Well, he's like, you guys are struggling with these. Oh, you would have died on the Honda.
I agree. I think so. I mean, I think that I think the struggles that Marquez had on that Honda made him a better rider coming to Ducati. I mean, it's kind of like, if you grow up playing basketball on a crate and all of a sudden you're shooting in a rim, you're gonna probably hit way more shots than you were hitting in that crate and probably be way more accurate, kind of thing. Not to say I'm calling the Honda a crate, but a milk crate.
I mean,
2021 maybe.
But yeah, what do you guys think about Aldeguer, like I said, Alex Marquez and the VR46 guys? I mean, I think it's a track that these guys have gone well at in the past, and can they I mean, if I was them, I would all work together and try to get in front of Marquez at different times of the race and see whoever can make it at the end makes it to the end.
It's like a pincer maneuver into turn one.
Exactly. Because you see that Bezzecchi fight, you see Morbidelli fight, you see Digia fight, you see Acosta fight. We haven't seen Furman out of gear because he's just been further in the back, and Mark just had so much time in front of him that he hasn't been able to do that. We've seen Alex fight with his brother, but Alex said he made one mistake, and that was that. He couldn't catch him.
That's questionable.
All right, Sir John, tell us what you think, and then Tyson, you can follow up after that. But yeah, what do you think about the other Ducati riders, and do they stand the shot? And also the riders I mentioned, because they've kind of been in front of Marquez in different sections of the race. I won't say they fought with him.
Yeah, it's tough because I put up like the finishes for last year just to see kind of where everyone went at, and it's like you got Aprilia that finished fourth. Of course you got Pecco, Martin, Mark finished third. So it's questionable to me because it's like I could maybe give Bezzecchi, like, just because he's on the road, give him the credit. Like, he's going to be up front at some point. So he's going to make a good, solid fight for it. And he does have a fighter spirit. He's not scared to light you up, so he will send it. DG actually finished well. He was top 5. He was in 5th, but he's also struggling on a 25. So it's like, how does that translate now? So all these Ducati guys that were out front last year are on 25s now, and they're struggling, except for Mark. That's where I feel like the other brands have a shot. You can see their Prius come up front. You can see the Hondas get back up there.
That's it. That's where the brand stop.
It's just like it's unpredictable.
You can say KTM, Yamaha.
I mean, so I will say the KTM one, Acosta, he's gonna finish in the top 5 of wreck out. And he's not scared to fight you either. He's not scared to fight. He's not. He's not. Oh, you're a world champion. I don't care. I'm about to light you up inside stuff. So like he's definitely is going to send it as well. And that's beautiful. Bastianini is showing signs of finally getting comfortable on the KTM, which he's phenomenal at late race pace. He always comes on strong, and I'm starting to see that over the last 2 rounds. I think he started making strides. Then he one round he wrecked out, but still, it's starting to show that. Yeah, it's starting to show that sign of like him getting comfortable. And then we do have to say we do have Maverick, which is coming back. Granted, depending on his health and how he actually feels. This is a track to where he's fast at, so he could mix up the grid a little bit here and there. And if the stars align, he could be a threat as well. So there's a lot of, the KTM boys I can honestly see outrunning anyone on those ducks minus Mark.
Yeah, I agree. Alicia Sparger is going to be in the race. I think that's his home track as well. I think he did well. If I'm not mistaken, he did well on the Aprilia in 23 there, I think.
He won.
It was last year. It was either last year.
He won the sprint.
He won the sprint. Okay.
Yeah, because he think the race was over early and pulled up celebrating
2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. They were showing that all over like Instagram and YouTube today. It was hilarious.
Yeah. But that's a problem too for the grid because Alicia at that track is fast. Yeah. So it's like low key, he could snatch one of those top 10 positions right from underneath somebody, like easy.
Yeah, right from Pecco.
Yes.
Easy, Pecco. Come on.
Oh man, yeah, he could, and the Honda is in the top 4, top 6, so the Honda is definitely quick. But what are your thoughts, Tyson? You agree kind of with what Sir John is saying as far as do we miss anyone that can be competitive with Mark?
Right now, I'm really high on Furman. I really didn't have too many thoughts on him last year, and really at the beginning of this year, I was like, we'll see how he does. He seems to be a hot commodity, but I haven't necessarily seen anything out of him. But other than Mark doing his fun hot laps at the end of the race in the 37s, he was the only other racer in the 37s. Like, if he didn't, and that was after he crashed. If he hadn't have crashed, could he have kept up with Mark? Could he have actually like pushed him into a couple corners? Like, I don't think he would have beat him, but I could see him making like a, showing a wheel, and then Mark just being like, "Good luck next time, kid," and then like, fucking off. So
yeah, I think if it was a video game and you could turn off tire wear, he would definitely beat Mark. But I think Mark has pretty much everyone's number, in the sense that, like, okay, I know this dude is fast because I see his times, and I got the data and stuff like that. But he's starting back here, and he already knows, like, all right, he's gonna have to burn. He's gonna have to keep this pace to catch up to me. And as long as I'm ahead of him by a second and a half, I'm good. And he's gonna run out of tire because, like you guys said, he just waits until somebody makes a mistake or somebody just burns their tire out too soon, and then he pounces. So I think for Furman, he has to qualify well, and then when I say well, he got to be at least top 6. Yeah. And then he's gonna have to just be calm at the beginning of the race.
Though, like, you'll have some real good races if he can get tops, like first or second row qualifying. Yeah, he's gonna have some good races coming up, and I think I think Ducati should be looking at him for some future plans. I mean, obviously, if his performances continue, kind of deal, and he keeps it up, but
he does have
he signed with Ducati specifically, not with Gresini or nothing. Yeah. Like, he signed to Ducati contract. Yep. Yeah. So that's the interesting part, to where it's like they're planning on him being the star.
Yeah, but that's just like his contract ends at the end of 2026, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see what I think. I remember. I think was it Bobby Shakes? I forget who said that. That Alex Marquez could get a factory seat, and then when he said it, I thought he was crazy. But then after seeing what Alex Marquez did, I think for next year, the factory seat is open for Furman or any other rider that does better than, I think, Bagnaia next year.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Alex doing better. I mean, he's obviously in second. He's doing a great job this year. It's the best he's done in MotoGP or whatever. Yep. But much like Bez or Frankie or Vinales, like, you got to put a whole season together. You can't just have 5 good races and then the rest of them mediocre. Like, I don't think that performance, like, if you can pull out another second next year, I say Ducati probably looks at him realistically. But other than that, I doubt they're actually looking at him for a realistic contract on their team.
Listen, Mayer, won a world title and didn't win 5 races. The late great Nicky Hayden didn't win 5 races and won a title. I mean, I know it's a different time now because there's Marc Marquez and he's healthy, and on the best bike on the grid. But it does happen. That's the thing. The Spurs won a championship too, but
I mean, it certainly does. It's just one of the, like, it goes with like the grid to a degree, like, depends on how other people are doing. If I had a choice between Furman and Alex, and Furman was like behind Alex next year in the championship and just on fire, I would take him over Alex and leave Alex and Gresini. Like, he's getting older too. I mean, he's not ancient or anything, but what is he, 29, 30?
Right. Yeah. And I think Furman is a better rider than Alex, in the sense that I think Furman, to me, and I've said this on air, Aldiger is a better rider than Acosta, because when Furman was in the European series on a Moto2 bike and Acosta was in Moto3, like, he was nasty on that European series and stuff like that. And, even his first year in Moto2, Furman was nice. And then once he got that Ducati contract, it was almost like all of a sudden, he was, taking days off, it felt like. And in Moto2, you know what I'm saying? Which, if you signed him, I know you're trying to save your body for MotoGP, but, like, you signed the Moto2, so, you know what I'm saying? Like, he should have showed up last year in Moto2, and I think he kind of just, I don't know. He made mistakes, was kind of doing silly stuff and stuff like that. Towards even after Ducati announced that, because he forced Ducati to say he had the factory contract at Phillip Island, and so when that happened, and after that, he just kind of Like you just got rich and just started partying and having fun, and just not taking it seriously. So it's good to see him, being competitive now, and he's a rookie, and which is really also impressive. It's good to see that year was just kind of what it was, but at the same time, I think the team from last year didn't get the Furman that Grassini's getting this year.
Yeah.
So I think, unless I've missed anything, I think we've covered a lot for what's coming for MotoGP this round. So if I missed anything, or if you guys want to bring up something, now will be the time, guys.
We'll see what happens.
I like that. I like that. Definitely see what happens. And also, I guess I don't know if you guys have seen this, so we'll leave on this note. There is a finance group that's looking to buy Formula One. What do you guys, I don't know if you've heard about that. And right now, Liberty Media Groups owns Formula One, and they own, I believe, 80%, if not all, of MotoGP. So if Liberty was to sell Formula One, now all of a sudden that pie gets a lot smaller for with just MotoGP. What do you guys? I don't know if you heard anything about that, and if you have, or if you're just hearing it now, what do you think? Is like Formula One should be sold?
I mean, if it's private equity, it's the death of Formula One.
Say again, who owns it?
Yeah, that's really who owns it right now.
Liberty Media Group.
Same owners as MotoGP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they bought it 15 years ago, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Mid 2010s, they bought it from Bernie Ecclestone.
And I think it's a Middle Eastern or Saudi group that's trying to buy it, offering ridiculous money. But I think they turned them down once, and they're back at the table again, trying to say, hey, which I mean, if it was to go, I assume if you're trying to buy something and they own two companies, you'd probably try to get both, right? MotoGP and Formula One, because I can see the package deal having MotoGP in that camp, because I think they're trying to bring MotoGP into where Formula One is as far as entertainment value, and also kind of you look at what you're seeing it with. I would say European soccer, but Shakes would say it's just soccer. We see what's happening. I should say football. My bad. With football over there, as far as the amount of money and the crowds and stuff like that.
Yeah. I doubt they can sell MotoGP, because they just got MotoGP, did they not, in like the last 8 months, something like that?
Yeah.
Like, my guess is there's some sort of like contracts on how long they can possess it and stuff like that. So I have no idea. I have no idea what's in those contracts, but
right.
From
Martin does.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
You got to read them contracts, man. Oh man, but you're right. We don't know, and I hope it's just somebody. It's just a team it's just a company that's looking and they stick around, because, I've just really started watching Formula One more often in the last few years. But it's very entertaining, and I like what they're doing, and I see what's the stuff they've already done in MotoGP. And how much better MotoGP is, not necessarily from a rider perspective, but from an entertainment perspective, as far as logging on, as far as just, how the press conferences are now and stuff like that, which is, if you're long in the tooth, as some would like to say, you probably might not like the change, because you always want to see the top 3 riders in the press conference. But it's nice to see other riders in the press conference now.
Yeah.
So
it is good to get that other marketing out there. I like Liberty Media. They obviously done quite a bit with Formula One. Formula One's more popular than it's ever been. My only problem with Liberty Media is that they love street circuits, and I hate street circuits. Like, they're terrible circuits. Like, at first they were fun, and now it's like, now that there's like 8 street circuits on the calendar, it's like, come on, like, there's great tracks. Like, they go to Vegas and Miami. Like, go to Road Atlanta. That would be sick. That is a sick track.
That would be sick.
I have no idea how realistic it is for MotoGP, but like, I would much rather go to Road Atlanta than go to Miami and spend $3,000 on tickets just to go to the Dolphins parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
like you want to be sad, go to the Dolphins game, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So Lewis, that's Ortega, that's on the Monday show. We've talked about this a bunch, and it comes down to the facility. You got MotoGP, you got Moto2, you got Moto3. So it's nice when you can have a paddock that can hold all that. And that's the downside. So I think they would have to build up something or create something temporary to make that work.
A street circuit?
No, just even at Road Atlanta, like
gotcha.
they need a paddock space, kind of thing to hold all the big rigs and everything, and not bump certain people into tents, kind of, because like now some of the track we'll see some of the Moto3 in tents and canopies and stuff like that, but I think that's more for show and tell when they do the walkthrough. But I think that's the biggest thing is just having. I think the U.S. would have to either modify a facility to house MotoGP, or build a facility that can house it like COTA, essentially.
It really is unfortunate though. Like, we have these great tracks, like objectively the layouts and how the tracks run and their flow. They're amazing tracks.
Yep.
But like they don't have the money coming into them like COTA. Like, why do they go to COTA? So they can have 200,000 people pay tickets every day. Why do they go to COTA? Because they have that money influx to build those media tents and media, buildings and the garages and that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, assuming to get sort of like a similar level of, what do you want to call it? Sort of like infrastructure at any other track that isn't COTA, Indy, or Laguna would be tens of millions of dollars. And I guarantee none of them want to spend that kind of money for the amount of money that MotoGP realistically will be giving them for the event to come there. So.
Right. Yeah, no, I think it's gonna have to be just some, maybe Keanu Reeves might want to spend some of his movie money.
I don't think he's that rich.
And build a track for the he'll probably do it for Canada first, but that's the downside. I mean, and I think that's the biggest thing with racing in the U.S. is getting the facilities right, so that way you can have these big shows. And stuff like that, and even like I know New Hampshire Speedway is starting to do more concerts now and stuff like that. So, and New Hampshire Speedway is despite what it is for NASCAR, they have the facilities big enough to house everything, but they're just known for oval track, so that's the downside.
Yeah, I mean, no realistic professional organization is going to go to Loudon for a motorcycle track.
No, well, Motor America riders are showing up for the classic, and
that's because they're choosing to on their own.
But I think at some point they're gonna like the teams are gonna show up because So I can't speak for any of the teams or anyone else but like from our perspective, we're trying to grow the sport. U.S. riders were the biggest riders in the world at one time. You know what I mean? And so it's a sacrifice for I guess people like us and whoever is trying to rebuild or help build racing in the U.S. So you would think that teams, and I get it, there's a price on everything, but it would make sense for teams to show up and run and do that, and it's still good money. I mean, granted, some of these riders make way more money than what Loudon's giving out. But $60,000 is a lot of money to win in a weekend and stuff like that. And from a nostalgia perspective, as you know, Tyson, it's the oldest road racing series in the country. It's been around for over 100. They've been racing about over 100 years. But it comes down to numbers, and that's the downside of it. But I do think teams should show up or allow their riders to show up, even if they want to come on and bring their own bike and bring their own team. I think that's it, guys. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. We've been kind of chatting offline, about coming on, and that's kind of how you guys connected with us and stuff like that, because you guys follow the show. And it was nice to have you on and talk MotoGP as well. And I hope to have you guys on again. I really appreciate it. Tyson and Sir John Hampton, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Rexy.
Thanks. Peace.